From secret chambers found in the ancient pyramids to evil bunkers that used to house cruel experiments, there are a lot of creepy things that can go down in a secret ancient room. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I am your host Kennedy, and today we are here to talk about some of the creepiest secret rooms to have ever been found. But not just any old secret rooms, the top 10 eeriest rooms unearthed in ancient tombs. Let's get into it. Starting us off at number 10 is King Tut's tomb. I think it's pretty fair to say that King Tut's tomb is just about the most famous one on the planet these days. However, although it was discovered over a century ago, it wasn't until fairly recently that two secret rooms were found hidden inside the tomb. In August of 2015, a prominent English Egyptologist, Dr. Carl Nicholas Reeves, published a 50-page paper outlining the evidence of two hidden doorways inside of King Tut's tomb, and most interestingly, he theorized that the final resting place of world-famous Queen Nefertiti, whose tomb has yet to be found, might actually be intact behind the walls in Tut's tomb. Over the years, there have been several scans of the walls to find out more. Some showed evidence of a corridor or void on the other side, while some did not. But honestly, considering the alleged curse entangled with unearthing King Tut's tomb, which was out in the open for all to see, I can only imagine what hell could be unleashed if we mess around with whatever is in that secret room. Coming in at number 9, Brompton Cemetery. There are a few things it seems pretty safe to want to avoid, and mysteriously sealed mausoleums housing the dead seem pretty high up on that list for me, but apparently not for all. Located in West London in the Brompton Cemetery lies a tomb that some believe to be a fully functioning time machine. Yes, you heard that right. Inside the tomb lies a woman by the name of Hannah Courtois, who had inherited quite a fortune. She was supposedly a friend of Joseph Bonamy and Samuel Warner, the men who built the tomb, and as the story goes, the two men convinced her to finance the secret project with the promise of laying her down to rest inside once it was finished. Strangely, Warner died shortly after construction finished, and some think he died after discovering something horrid inside the tomb, while others speculate Bonamy killed him for revealing the secrets of the time machine itself. It is thought that it is Hannah's burial that is some kind of TARDIS capable of whisking one back to ancient Egypt or even turning back the clock and providing youth to those who find it. All that is needed is the large bronze key, but as luck would have it, it has been missing since its creation 150 years ago. Coming in at number 8, Machu Picchu. High in the Andes Mountains lies Machu Picchu, an ancient citadel and the most visited tourist location in Peru. However, it seems there may be more than meets the eye after a recent bone-chilling discovery. Through the power of electromagnetic equipment, a strange chamber appears to have been concealed behind the walls of the popular attraction. However, despite many appeals, the Peruvian government refuses to allow the door to be opened, which begs the question, do they know something we don't? It is still considered to be unexplored, as no one has been able to physically get on the other side of that door to check it out, not to mention that those who trespass risk getting a huge fine. I don't know about you, but it definitely feels like they're hiding something from us. But I guess the bigger question is, do we really want to know what? Coming in at number 7, priest holes. So, full disclosure, I know this one isn't really what you would traditionally call a tomb, but I think you'll see why I'm including it on today's list in just a moment here. So way back during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, which spanned from the mid-16th century until the early 17th century, it was not a good time to be a Catholic. In fact, you may or may not recall from high school history class that it was during this time that it was considered a treasonable offense to be Catholic, and practicing Catholic rites was punishable by life in prison or even death. So what this meant was that Catholics were forced to practice in secret. Brave Catholic priests would roam the country performing secret ceremonies in the homes of believers of the religion. However, the queen was well aware of the rebellion happening under her nose, so she would order her men to roam around the country in order to catch priests in the act. Now, this is where the priest holes come in. Priest holes were tiny, cleverly concealed spaces designed to hide a priest during one of these ordered raids. Because remember, if he was found, he, along with any of the practicing members in the household, would likely die. However, these raids could last for days, even weeks, and so some priests actually died of starvation or suffocation waiting out the search in their cramped quarters. Today, the secret chambers remain scattered across the Tudor houses of England, and those that have been inside say they feel this eerie presence of priests who lost their life hiding from execution. Coming in at number 6, an upright tomb. During the Mayan Empire, one of the most important cities in Central America was Copan. Now, Copan existed as a hub of trade and politics from the 5th century to the 9th, and as important as the city was, for many years we knew virtually nothing about it. But all that changed in 2005 with the discovery of this tomb, which so happens to contain the remains of an elite member of Mayan society. Now, what's strange and a little eerie about this tomb, as opposed to any other one containing an ancient mummified emperor, is that the man inside, who is estimated to have died around 650 AD, was propped upright, sitting in a chair with his legs crossed, which was not typical practice. On top of that, the tomb appeared to have almost been hidden away inside a temple. Could there have been a specific reason? I mean, what do you think? Was this one we should have just left alone? Coming in at number 5, an unsuspecting tomb. Typically, when we imagine ancient tombs, the ones that come to mind are the elaborate mausoleums of kings, queens, or warriors. But of course, they are not the only ones out there. In 2021, the partially mummified remains of Marcus Venerius Secundio were found in a tomb in the ancient Roman city of Pompeii and have been described as the best preserved human remains ever discovered in the city. Now, what's wild about this is the story behind how this man came to earn a tomb. You see, Marcus was a slave and the custodian of ancient Pompeii's Temple of Venus. However, he was freed from slavery and decided to join the ranks of the Augustales, who were a college of priests in charge of a form of emperor worship. Plus, according to an inscription on the tomb, it seems Marcus helped organize performances in Greek during his time alive. However, even with the wonderful and heartwarming story, it's still strange because it was apparently more typical to cremate bodies during the Roman times than to mummify them. So why was it decided Marcus would be mummified and hidden inside the temple? We may never know. Coming in at number 4, a horror bunker. So this one doesn't really qualify as ancient, I'll give you that, but it is definitely still one of the creepiest ones on this list. Recently, about a month ago, archaeologists stumbled across a horrifying underground bunker close to Anda City in northeastern China that would have been a part of Imperial Japan's infamous Unit 731. Now, Unit 731, for those that are not familiar, was an incredibly cruel biowarfare and human experimentation site during the 1940s that carried out experiments on thousands of prisoners of war, eventually killing an estimated 12,000 of them. Atrocities like amputating victims' limbs without anesthesia, putting them in pressure chambers until their eyes popped out, and injecting them with deadly diseases are only some of the evil committed in the wartime unit. And shockingly, this bunker that was found is thought to have been the largest testing site for that unit, meaning that thousands of men and women were held captive in this secret chamber where most would have also died. So again, would we call it an ancient tomb? I mean, no, probably not, but I think we can all agree it's a seriously eerie find. Coming in at number 3, the Mausoleum of Qin Huang. Buried deep in the Shanxi province lies the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Huang. And as far as famous tombs go, this one is about as high up there as you can get. For a little backstory, while he reigned, Qin Huang wanted to make sure his tomb was a worthy approximation of his own legacy. So he enlisted thousands of laborers who worked tirelessly for decades to create a tomb worthy of being an emperor. Allegedly, 700,000 laborers worked on the tomb, and it still took nearly 40 years to build. Now, fast forward several thousand years, and what do we find inside? Well, about 7,000 terracotta soldiers, complete with horses, chariots, officers, infantry, and a court. But even more out of this world are the rivers of pure mercury that historians have reason to believe line the inside of the tomb. According to ancient writings, the tomb also contains an entire underground kingdom protected by ancient ballistas and mechanisms that will fire arrows at any potential grave robbers. However, unless that someone is able to get past the underground Mercury River without dying, we might never know for sure. Coming in at number 2, the secret tomb of Genghis Khan. Despite the fact that we all know the notorious 12th century ruler of the ancient Mongol Empire, there is not a soul alive that can tell you for certain just where exactly he was buried. In fact, it has been the subject of many debates over the years. Legend has it that Genghis Khan is entombed in a spot so secretive that anyone who even came near his funeral procession was killed. To make sure it remained a secret, even the 800 horsemen who trampled his gravesite to keep its location secret were executed, along with the 1,000 laborers who escorted his body and dug his final resting place. Just imagine having such loyal followers that you could actually assure this plan would be followed through with without being able to oversee it. Now, to make up for this, a mausoleum has been created to honor him, but it only contains a few personal effects, not his actual remains. His actual resting place might just be the longest kept secret ever. And last up in our number 1 spot, the Paris Catacombs. It may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of an ancient tomb, but it is where millions have been laid to rest. And if there's one thing that it has in spades, it is secret little nooks and crannies at every turn. It all started in 18th century Paris when cemeteries were in a near hopeless state. You could barely walk through town without smelling the rotting dead bodies, and they were quickly running out of places to put them all. But when King Louis XVI came into power, he enlisted his architect to build a system of underground catacombs to transfer all the bodies to. It allegedly took 12 years to transfer all of the bodies, which is no surprise considering the remains of more than 6 million people can be found there. And as you probably guessed, it's wicked haunted. And although many have dared to visit these winding maze tunnels, that doesn't mean it comes without risk. Visitors say they've seen strange orbs of light, taunting voices, and indescribable shadows lurking in the tunnel, while others say they've literally seen ghosts. But the biggest reason to fear the tunnels is because many that enter never return. Several reports of disappearances have happened through the years, and while some have been found, many have remained lost forever. Well, that's all I've got for you today, my friends. I hope you liked this video, but I have to know, have you ever come across some kind of creepy room or cursed ancient tomb? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time!